What if a city promised its residents billions of dollars, but then didn't put a single penny in the bank? Well, that's exactly the story we're diving into today. San Francisco's incredibly ambitious and, as it turns out, wildly controversial reparations plan. And to kick things off, let's just start with this quote from TV host Mike Rowe, who called the whole thing rank hypocrisy. I mean, that's a pretty heavy accusation, right? It really cuts right to the heart of this whole debate. So you gotta ask, why? Why would a plan that's supposed to right historical wrongs get hit with such intense criticism? Let's dig in and figure it out. Okay, so to really get what all the fuss is about, you have to understand the sheer size of what was being promised. And believe me, the numbers we're about to see, they're just mind-blowing. All right, so the official name for this thing is the San Francisco Reparations Fund. The idea was pretty straightforward. A special committee, called AARAC, would come up with a plan to deal with the lasting effects of discrimination against the city's Black community. And the recommendation that got everyone talking? A one-time payment of, wait for it, $5 million for every single person who qualified. So who's eligible for that? Well, according to the source material we're looking at, we're talking about roughly 35,500 Black adults in San Francisco who could have been in line for this. So let's do some quick math here. You take that $5 million and multiply it, and the total price tag for just this one part of the plan comes out to around $175 billion. Yeah, with a B. That's an absolutely massive number. Now, with a number that huge, you'd probably expect a massive political fight, right? A lot of pushback? Well, you'd be wrong. The support was, well, it was basically universal. And things moved fast. The committee got started back in 2020. By the end of 2025, according to the source we're referencing, the Board of Supervisors gives it a unanimous thumbs up. Then, just a week later, Mayor Daniel Lurie signs it, and boom, it's law. And this is really key. It wasn't a squeaker. Everyone was on the same page. The mayor, the supervisor who sponsored it, Shaman Walton, and all 10 other board members, they all voted yes. Supervisor Walton even called it a move from apology to action. So, from apology to action sounds great, right? But this is where the story takes a hard right turn. This is where we hit the reality of the situation. Because as of February 2026, the amount of money actually in the San Francisco Reparations Fund is, well, it's zero. A big, fat zero. Not one single dollar has been put into it. And to really wrap your head around that, just look at this fiscal gap. The plan's estimated cost is that massive $175 billion, but the city's entire yearly budget, only $14 billion. So this one plan would cost more than 12 times what the city spends on everything for a full year. And, just to make things even more complicated, the city isn't exactly rolling in cash. It's actually staring down a $1 billion budget deficit. So the idea of finding that kind of public money, it just seems impossible. So how is this ever supposed to get paid for? Well, here's the catch. The ordinance itself says it very clearly. The money will come exclusively from private donations. No city funds. At all. It's all on the shoulders of philanthropy. Philanthropy that, well, just hasn't shown up. And this is where that hypocrisy accusation really comes into play. The very same officials who all voted yes for this plan, many of whom are quite wealthy themselves, haven't donated any of their own money. For all their public support, their personal contribution to the fund is, you guessed it, zero. Oh, and here's one last little twist in the story. While the actual reparations fund has nothing in it, taxpayer money was spent. $217,000 of it, to be precise. And where did it go? It went to pay stipends to the committee members who came up with this completely unfunded plan. So all of this, it brings us right back to where we started, to that accusation. Critics look at all this and say it's a classic example of what's called performative politics. You really have this huge split, right? On one hand, you've got these really powerful words, you've got unanimous votes calling it a historic step, but then you look at the wallet, and what do you see? A total reliance on private donors, zero city money committed, and nothing, an empty account. Now, just so you know, the details and analysis we've walked through here are based on reporting from Shasta Unfiltered, which really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Was this whole thing a genuine, historic move to right a wrong? Or was it just a hollow political gesture, a huge promise with no real intention of ever paying up? That's the core of the debate, and something to really think about.